Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Sue Phillip and you can find me on Facebook as Sue's Paper Creations. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Canada and I am thrilled that you are joining me today. I think that this little tip that I am going to share with you for turning scraps into adorable little gift enclosure cards is going to be great for everyone of all levels. So whether you are a new beginner at crafting or whether you are a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator that has been demonstrating for years, I think that you are going to really enjoy the transformation of these strips into cute little cards in a matter of minutes. So let's get started. So for today, I'm going to be making 3 little note cards with matching envelopes from one strip of 1.5 by 12 inch scrap. So often when I am preparing for classes, I have got, say this is a beautiful piece of designer series paper. I often cut it down to create 6 card fronts. So I have got 6 pieces that are 4 by 5 1/4, and that is your standard size to have a whole background for a card that you might be making. Okay, now what you are left over with are these strips of paper. I hope you guys can see that. There we are. These strips of paper that end up being 1.5 by 12 inches. So I was preparing for one of my classes and I ended up with a lot of these strips of paper. And when I do a class, I like to include, when I do online class and I do my packages, or if someone places an order, I like to include a little gift enclosure note. So I wanted to find a way to turn these little scraps here into some adorable cards. So this is what I came up with and I want to share it with you. Okay, so I'm going to get all these out of the way. Okay, so to begin with, I am going to quickly show you how I take a 12 by 12 piece of cardstock. So this is just our basic white cardstock. And I like to use these to create my little 3 by 3 note cards because I can get exactly 8 from one sheet. So all I do is I put it into my Stampin' Trimmer, and it has both the cutter and the score blade. I am going to score at 3 inches. Then I'm going to turn it around 180 degrees and go in from the other direction, and I'm going to do the same. Okay, now once I've done that, I am going to go to 6 inches and I'm just going to cut this piece of paper in half. I'm going to end up with 2 sheets that have the score lines down the middle. Then I'm going to put those 2 on top of each other here, and I'm going to go in and I'm going to cut 3 inches. And I'm going to do that 1, 2, 3 times. So now I have got 8 nice white 3 by 3 note cards, which are the perfect backdrop to any of our gorgeous designer series paper. Okay, so I'm going to put those aside, and we are going to use, I'm going to make 2 sets of these note cards because I want to show you how you can do multiple sets at the same time. So I'm going to bring in, I'm going to do 2 at this round. I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Trimmer again, and I want to make sure that I am in frame. Perfect. Now I'm going to pick 2 of the strips of paper here to work with, and I think I'm going to go with, I haven't used this one yet, so I'm going to do that one, and I'm going to do this one. So these are 2 strips of paper from a designer series paper set that you can actually earn for free right now until February the 28th. And it is in our celebration brochure. So celebration excuse me, is an amazing time that you can earn free products when you purchase orders. So for $60, there is several different items in this book. We are going to be using, there's different sheets of paper. We're going to be featuring this little stamp set, the Darling Donkeys, in our note cards as well. There's some other ones in here, Approaching Perfection, some beautiful ombre papers. This is actually the #1 choice for freebies this year for celebration. They are gorgeous papers. Another couple stamp sets, but we are going to be using the Flower and Field Designer Series paper. So those are the pieces that I've got here. And I mean, there is a couple more in here when you reach the 120 mark. And they are fabulous, including these beautiful papers that I showed you in a card that I had done, okay? But those are there for you when you place a $60 order. You get to pick something out, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm going to take these two, I'm gonna put the other ones to the side here, and I am going to start by taking these again. These are 1.5 by 12 inches, and I'm going to put it in the paper cutter, and I am going to cut 3 inches. Okay, so that's 1, and I'm going to do 3 of these. So that's 1, 2, and 3. So I am going to make 2 sets of 3 cards and 3 matching envelopes. Okay, and so I go ahead and I cut both patterns at the same time. This makes for really quick multiple cards. Okay, you could probably do up to maybe 3 sheets in your paper cutter and do 3 sets, but I'm just going to do 2 for you tonight. Now let me see here. I'm going to take this last little piece that is also 3 inches. I'm going to turn it in the other direction, and I'm going to divide it into 3 half-inch pieces. Okay, so that's 1, 2, and 3, just like that. Okay, I'm going to put all these off to the side so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, all right, so I've got them lined up. Again, remember I've got another whole set underneath. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with these pieces, and I'm going to put them back in, and I'm going to take them and turn them just on an angle. So I am making this so that it goes about maybe 1/3 of the way in on this side and 1/3 of the way in on this side, and it's on an angle. Okay, so you don't want it to go corner to corner, you want it to be somewhere in between. Now I'm going to cut that one. So that's 1. I'm keeping my patterns lined up. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do the other 2. Okay. And then 1 more set. Come on. There we go. Perfect. Okay. So there we have got all of our cutting that we need to do. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in 3 of our note cards. Okay, so these are the ones that we created out of that 12 by 12 sheet, and we got 8 of them, right? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do 3. Okay. Now I'm going to make the creases so that I can see where the fronts of the cards are very easily. And I'm going to bring in my stamp and seal and get everything else out of the way here. And I'm going to start with the first set, and I'm going to just take these pieces, and I'm going to take this one here, and I'm going to place it about not quite 1/2 an inch from the top. Okay, and then I'm going to take the matching piece. You want to keep the pattern so that they line up, but you're just going to be separating them. Let's see here. Come on. There we go. Just like that. Okay, perfect. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do the same on these other 2. Okay. Hope these look great already. There we go. So that's number 2. And this is number 3. So when you do it this way and you cut a couple sets all at once, it makes for really easy multiple cards, and you can do them like an assembly line, like I'm doing here. So you're going to make these cards, you're going to have matching envelopes, and they're going to look fabulous. Okay, now I just noticed that when I was cutting these patterns, that I had one that was going on the other angle and 2 that are going this way. So it doesn't matter which way they go as long as you cut them on an angle, and we'll see how these turn out and look slightly different. Okay, so I've got those 3 pieces that are all ready to go. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to bring in just some cutouts that I've got. Now I often have, when I do classes, I have got a bucket that I keep all my scrap little die cut pieces. So when I'm doing a class, or if I'm making a card, if I have a little scrap, I'll cut an extra one and I'll stick it in this bucket. And then I can pull from these to make little cards like this. And I'll show you some other samples that I've done. But what I'm going to do on these guys here is now I'm going to pull in our darling donkey. And let's see, we're going to use this guy here. And I'm going to stamp just a part of him onto these cutouts. And I'll probably just do one because I do have some that are already colored and ready to go, just to make things quick for you. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and you're going to stamp. You could do all 3 of the donkeys if you want, because there is 3 in here. I'm going to just do this one for right now, and I'm going to go in, I'm going to quickly color with my Stampin' Blends, which are super easy. It's nice because they blend fabulously and you don't see the lines when you're coloring. So I'm just going to do a quick little color here. I'm going to just do it all in one color just to make it easy. But you can see with these alcohol-based markers that you're not getting all the strokes of the coloring, that they're blending nicely together. I love it. I'm going to go in with the darker, that was the Smoky Slate. I'm just going to go in with the darker version of it and just do a little bit of detail here. A slightly darker color. Again, I'm just doing this quickly for you, but it blends really well. We're going to do a little yellow flower here, which I think is really sweet, and a little bit of Granny Apple Green. So I love these cute little donkeys. They are probably one of my favorites from the celebration. My favorite stamp set. And again, these cute little guys are free with a $60 order. Now I have gone ahead and I have done one of each of the donkeys to show you the cards. So that's 1, 2, and 3. Now I'm going to bring these back, and I'm going to bring in this little hee-haw from the stamp set, because I think that's perfect just to pop in to my orders, or when I make up online classes, which I do have a couple that I run every single month. So if you want to check those out, you can go to my Facebook page, Sue's Paper Creations, and I have them listed there. I mail out my kits across Canada, and I do a fun fold every month, and then I do a free class with the purchase of a bundle. So this month it is the strawberry set, and we're doing a cool accordion fold that has hidden spots for gift cards. So those are the type of things that I do every month. So if you want more information, just let me know. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I am going to add these little donkeys on here. I am going to get out my Stampin' Dimensions, and I'll just use my little mini ones. You can see how adorable these are already. Now, I tend to think that every single card needs a little embellishment. So we're gonna find a cute little embellishment for this one once we're done here. So there's one. So I think it works both ways. Let's see, and then two. Okay, already got ink all over my fingers. I've been actually making quite a few of these today, getting all stocked up and ready to go in my kits. And here is another one. This is our last little donkey. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and 4. There we go, pop that on there. Isn't he just the sweetest? So cute. So there are 3 cute little note cards. Now we need to add a little something to these. So I'm gonna go into I always keep all my embellishments in our clear cases so that I can see through them and see what I've got. I'm gonna bring in our butterfly gems because I thought this would be really sweet with the flowers in the background. And I'm gonna use the tiny ones. So I'm gonna put one little butterfly there. Isn't that cute? Let's see what colors I've got. I'm gonna bring in this one right there, and let's bring in a blue one. I think might be fun right over here. Okay, so there are our 3 little note cards. Now remember, we still have 3 little strips from that original piece of paper, right? And I do not like to waste anything. This is what I love about this project. So I am going to bring in my liquid glue, and I am using 3 of the envelopes. You can get packages of these envelopes through our online store, and they come in packages of 40. But they are the envelopes for our to make little 3x3 cards. I am taking these strips that I've got over here, and I am just adding them to the edge of the top of these envelopes. And I'm gonna bring in my paper snips, and I'm just going to trim out around here like this. And I think this is the perfect finishing touch to this little combo. Look at that. Isn't that sweet? So there is your little envelope. And I'll just quickly do that for these 2. And so we have taken one of those 1.5 by 12 inch strips that we all have laying around our craft room. For me, I have tons of them. And we are creating 3 mini note cards, adorable, with 3 matching envelopes. Okay, so there's 1, 2, and 3. And these are, again, all products. These papers and the stamp set are items you can get for free when you purchase a $60 item, okay? If you were to do $120, then guess what? You could pick the set of papers and the donkeys. You could get them both. Okay, so I'm going to put this aside because we still have one more set that I'm going to create because we still have these pieces sitting here. And I want to show you that you can do this card in 2 different directions. So I'm going to bring in 3 more note cards. 1, 2, 3. And these are going to go together even quicker than those donkeys did. Okay, I'm going to do my little score just so that I can see where the fronts are to make it a little bit easier. Okay, I'm going to get out my snail, and this time, because of my pattern, I am going to make them in this direction. Okay, so you can see that depending on the pattern that you have in your strips of scraps, that you can do this card in both directions. Okay, so there is 1. Okay, and let's do to, oh, let's do it this way. Just like this. Now in red here, I think it is in frame. Let's see. Is it in frame? It is. That is my current host code and my website where you can place any online orders if you're needing any supplies. Remember, if you hit the $60 mark, you could pick one of the fabulous items from Celebration. But also what I want you to know about is that every single month I have got a loyalty gift. So if your purchase ends up being $90 and you use the host code, then I always have an embellishment of the month. And this month it is the pastel pearls. So this would get mailed to you in the mail as soon as I get notification of your order. I order them all up, and then the beginning of the following month, these get mailed out to everyone who placed an order of $90 or more using the host code. So you can expect that little extra in the mail, and the embellishment changes every single month. Okay, now I told you these are going to be fairly quick. I am going to bring in these beautiful flower cutouts, and I wanted to use the red to pick up on the red in this paper. These are from the Perennial, let me think here, it is in the mini catalog. I just want to make sure I got this right. It is a Perennial Flowers, I do believe, or Perennial Garden. I just want to double check for you, because it is an awesome set of die cuts and flowers. So I just got to look it up here. Let me see. Okay, 1, 2, 3. In bloom. Nope, it's not that one. It is, yes, on page 31. So it is from this set here, which I absolutely love. But it is this set of die cuts that has the flowers and then the overlays. So that's what I'm going to be using to decorate. And again, I just had these left over from a class. So I'm going to use a little bit of liquid glue, and I'm just going to add these onto the flowers. And I love how the white pops off the red like that. Okay, and 2, and 3. Now remember, we need to add an embellishment for sure, because no card is complete without some sort of embellishment. So that will hold that in the center there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just place this in the center of the card. So for this one, because it's in this direction, and for stamping, I don't want to stamp a saying kind of going on the side here. You could add a greeting on a little tiny scrap. I'm going to show you some samples on a little tiny scrap that kind of goes in this direction. Or you could leave this blank, and for me, I am going to add a little thank you on the inside of these cards. So I'll show you in a second. So here is 2. Aren't these sweet? Like I said, this is all from those scraps that we have all got lying around, especially if we've been making lots of card fronts. This is what you end up with. Okay, is these little strips. So there is our 3 little cards. Aren't they sweet? Okay, now remember, we have got these strips here, and I'm just going to do one envelope this time because you saw me do all 3 before. And I'm going to place this just to add some color across the top, just like that. Do a little bit of a trim like that. And there you have got the trim on there to match the flowers. Okay, now if you wanted, you could also take those, and instead of putting it on the flap, you could put it on the front of the card like this. Would also, I think, look beautiful and would make the card coordinate. Okay, so you could either put it on the back or you could put it on the front. Either way, it's going to look great and just add some coordination and cuteness to your creations. Now I'm going to add just a little tiny pearl in the center of these flowers, because like I said, I think we need a little tiny embellishment, just like that. And there we have got 1, 2, 3 adorable cards. And here's our other ones from before. 1, 2, 3. We were able to make 2 sets by cutting our papers just once. Like I said, you could probably make up to 3 of these. I'm going to show you a couple more samples that I've made and where I store actually all my little note cards. So I did all of these today. I'm going to add them to my pile. So I got my little donkeys here. These cutouts, I did little ovals. So I just put all of these in here and I put the coordinating envelopes and then I have them ready to go. But I wanted to show you for the flower, if you had it in this direction, then you could add a little greeting there. Okay. This is another set and I think these are so cute. So this is another set that I did. And again, I just used the scraps that I had out of my bucket. Okay. For this one, I stamped on the inside the thank yous, and all of the products for this one came from our new ice cream set. And I do believe it is called Ice Cream Corner. You guys are going to love this one too, if I can find it. There it is. So it has all of these products. So again, it was a little strip left from this, our ice cream punch, and then some sprinkles on top. Okay, so there you have it. Some quick and easy cards that you can make using all of these 1.5 by 12-inch strips that you end up with. And these would be great, like I said, to have on hand for all occasions. You could have birthdays, thank yous, thinking of you. You could attach one of these to a birthday gift or to a bouquet of flowers, or just a little note in someone's lunch bag, or, you know, drop in the mailbox just to let them know that you are thinking of them. Okay, so thank you for joining me for this quick little tip on 3x3s and using up your scraps. I hope you guys enjoyed all these adorable little cards and have fun with those strips of paper. I'd love to see what you come up with, and I hope you guys will join me next time. Remember, celebration is going on from now until February 28th. If you want more info, let me know. If there's anything you're wanting to purchase, here's my code for January. And remember, celebration always has a fabulous bonus with our startup kit during celebration. So if anyone wants to have information about that and find out how you can get 5 packages of free beautiful papers along with $65 worth of product for only $135, no shipping, no taxes, plus this bonus, and you get to pick the products that you want for $165. Just reach out and contact me and I will let you know how to make that happen. Okay? All right, until next time, thanks for joining me.